Welcome back to FIFA 19.
Dark
Journey
Hollow.
so far.
Yes.
Oh my god,
Kim and the
Spyro.
USA crushed Italy in a friendly, also than everyone does to them in a Six Nations match.
And it sounds like the original version, yes?
No,
Yeah,
it's
it
the
is.
Reignited Trilogy.
Alex
Oh.
is now about to start. No, it's the original.
it
Champion.
is?
Yeah.
Facing off,
It-
facing off against
I'll
the
mention
other
that
nearly
later.
The way to
world
tell that
English
it's the original to
Tottenham
you,
Hotspur.
it's got that bass that's iconic to PlayStation soundtracks.
Oh, it sounds very good quality for being the original one.
I know where they got it from. But anyway, like the journey so far was stating, we're now going to face off, and as a part, against the new Stephen Dorffs of English football, Tottenham Hotspur.
In a sense that they're constantly pretending that they have a career.
Yes, i.e. they always get so close to achieving greatness, but ultimately fall short every time.
Everyone point at them and laugh.
Just to
Well,
mention.
I'm a Chelsea fan, so of course I'm gonna laugh at.
But just to mention, the Spyro soundtracks, at least for the original trilogy, had some kind of re-releases, I believe. So there could be higher quality versions of those
What is this?
original tracks available.
It's the Football Manager power theme from like All Stars Racing Transform.
Alright, I forgot about that. Sure, makes sense, I guess.
You only get it on the Steam version.
Yeah, the Steam version is definitely the definitive version because it has the more complete roster.
Which is ironic because recent Football Manager games don't have it.
Don't have, sorry?
They don't have the Football Manager guy on the front covers.
What a shame.
So yeah, our first Champions League game. So
Oh,
we
the
get to
classic
hear
Champions
the
League
theme.
theme. Was it actually, since I'm very ignorant on this, was this composed specifically for the Champions League?
Yeah. Yes, this theme was made in 1992, but Champions League started after they reorganised the European Cup, its predecessor.
I love how static and Jeep-esque the movement of the banner is. Yay! Also, this commentator needs to clear his throat. It sounds like he's on the verge of having,
So yeah,
throat laceration.
in a change from the previous games, whenever you're doing a Champions League match, we have brand new commentators.
Cool, I guess. I guess we're tied to specific.
Derek Ray and Lee Dixon, who normally do the Champions League commentary for BT Sport here in Britain.
I guess they wanted to reflect that because,
Yeah,
it's
want to
more
reflect the
similar.
commentators of the company that holds the rights to the particular competition. And since Sky Sport have most of the Premier League rights, they use the Sky Sports commentators.
Fair
But here,
enough.
for Champions League, they use the different ones.
And the keeper had to react in an instant. Oh, and does he? Wow, does he react? What a save that is. Tony Course. Just drifted into the illegal position.
And I was offside. And of course, since this is a Champions League, our first Champions League match actually, this match is going to play out in its entirety. And it's going to be the same when we play as Danny.
How successful do you think he'll be? Well, I call him the creator. He gets on the ball and he makes things happen. If there's a run in front,
Plus, I'll give you guys a chance to hear the commentators.
The more you think, Lee, they have a chance of lifting that coveted trophy. Yeah, there's a few more pieces of jigsaw to... And a Tottenham Hotspur free kick coming up.
Don't worry, I didn't get a card.
No, at least not this time.
Great ball from Isco. He's just got to continue his run. Big chance it is.
And there you go.
And a goal it is, the opener in this game. Well, keep it tight, that's what both players would have been saying. But now the opening goal's gone in. Tactics have got to
And actually, we get the presentation of the presentation graphics from the Champions as well, because since it's interesting though, because EA doesn't have the match graphics for all the competitions. Like, they don't have the ones from the EFL, even though that does have graphics presentation.
Also, this is brought to you by Pepsi.
By Pepsi Max.
Max.
Again, Jova, all this sporty, it makes you thirsty. You need to actually quench that
Hey,
at some
Gio,
point.
And-
you know what we need? Pepsi Man for EA FIFA.
Why not?
Well, again, since we're using, we also get to use the Champions League sponsors, one of which is PlayStation.
You know, actually, if I
Well,
recall,
at least it's not like I think in the previous game where we got actually ads for Xbox on the
On the
PS4
players'
versions.
shirts.
now that I
Yeah.
think
On the
about
players'
it,
shirt. Although again, it'll probably be that way in the Xbox version of this game, I gather.
Probably.
I mean, we are getting a PlayStation Studios branded game on Xbox Series X.
Which one?
The MLB The Show.
Oh, right, you're right. Now, I only got the news of today, by the time we're recording this, that Days Gone is coming to PC eventually, the summer of 2021, so there's that.
Basically, how it's working, because the holders of MLB The Show, the actual controller
Oop.
rights, said, we want to take this more abroad, outside of just PlayStation.
So either
And
you
so-
agree with that, or we're searching another publisher. Yeah, Pedro told me that.
So Sony pretty much had to agree to develop
Fine, but I'm not gonna like
MLB
it.
The Show games, not just for PlayStation, but for other consoles as well. And yes, and we are still going to have the new PlayStation Studios logo on the Xbox version. That'll be
nice.
that'll be a sight to see.
What the hell was the goalkeeper saying?
Help, please.
Please don't throw things in my face.
I'm just doing my job.
Poorly, apparently, considering the score.
That's only 2-0.
Yeah,
3-0.
get it free.
Okay, to be fair, a shot like that is really hard for a keeper to catch.
Let's have a look at that again. The keeper thinks he's done enough, but he hasn't. It's just gone past him. He does get a touch on it, though.
Well, sadly, he didn't get enough of a touch. Well, let's
Nope.
see it again. It looked like it touched him.
Where did the ball touch you?
His hand.
It's a good thing it's the goalkeeper who can do that. Actually, let me use this to ask about something in the meantime, Dwibs, why not? Because I don't think I actually asked this in the previous two games we did, this journey thing, but did you actually have experience in watching the Captain Tsubasa anime?
No.
Oh, okay. What about you, Jova?
Bits of it, but not in full.
Okay. My country, as you can imagine, is extremely popular because, football like soccer is the de facto most known sport. I watched like one or two episodes, and yes, I like these memes, like the fact that similar to DBZ, the episodes stretch a lot time, meaning that you get the memes about the fact that the soccer football field is super long and has like a curve to it. You can see the horizon. But it still could not actually catch me in its entirety. Apparently, I discovered way later, but it's apparently a Shonen Jump series. Surprisingly enough, they didn't actually, try to have more crossovers with other stuff from Shonen Jump. Not necessarily, the obvious stuff like the Dragon Ball or similar, but among its other sports series like Slam Dunk or I Shield 21. But there's that. Apparently in my country it's called Holly and Benji for some reason. They did rename a couple of the characters. I mentioned a couple of times how in my country we managed to get some deals and having some animes to be as close as possible to the original Japanese releases. But in other cases we did took our liberties. Some of which were fine for their time, but when nowadays haven't aged spectacularly. Not in a sense that they're controversial, but it's just that when you get down to it, the changes done to the names feel relatively pointless and just put there because they might have been afraid my country will not be able to recognize Japanese made names, which is something that we thankfully dropped for a lot of recent adaptations, thankfully. Apparently, well, there was a rumor, Joe, I forgot if I ever told you, especially in our 13 run. There was a rumor apparently that during the development of the first Final Fantasy 13 game, they were considering renaming for the Italian translation the name of the characters for some reason. And we're going to have Lightning having a name that was essentially a pun between an actual real name and the Italian name that we use here for Founder. It was.
Wow.
I hope it was just a passing rumor because it would have been so cringy.
I mean, the sad thing is that I could totally see Square doing that.
Next, well, to be fair, okay, yeah, it is true. Final Fantasy game gets to be translated in-house at Square, so it might have been tied to that. Well, apparently for Dragon Quest, we're using the method used by Richard Marcani would because we did insert it for recent releases like Dragon Quest XI or Heroes, some particular accent, some of which have not been as well received as one might imagine, mostly because of how complex it may be, and they're actually really difficult to read for some people.
So we're 5-0 up.
And it's only the start of the second round and you're demolishing the opposition once more.
Well, hey, at least we're proving why Tottenham are known as the nearly words of misfortune.
Because they don't use MasterCard?
No. Well, I mean, at the vital moment, they suck.
Because we don't use MasterCard. Oof, that player just impacted on the goalkeeper.
And they don't drive Nissans.
I rate this game 0 Nissans out of 10.
I was promised Nissans. Where are they?
Yeah, between it's like Speed Racer. It starts tied to the sport, in this case, football like soccer, but then it evolves into weird things, and we get Alex Hunter driving a Nissan in between matches, having to shoot some drug cartels.
Well, sure. A question: do you have a Nissan car dealership near you?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
At least
wow.
At least not near. Anyway.
Oh, that was a decent header to Alex.
The referee has given a corner.
All right, corner time.
And played short. And Isco.
Oof. Wow, it went through everybody.
Jesus.
I guess they wanted to avoid a handball and then potentially
probably.
Again, there was confusion after a good delivery into the box. They didn't know how to clear the ball, and in the end, ends up in the back of the net.
Yeah, what the commentator said.
Again, it's neat that they had recorded line for all these kind of different situations.
Well, it's like this in the regular game as well. Yeah, the Champions has these commentators when you play the game.
Well, not in that kind of way, Jova, but fuck. Not my bad. Not in that kind of way, Dwibs. It's more the fact, like you said, with in-game. Sure, on an actual live match, it makes more sense because they actually have to improvise on that front to be reactive towards the situation. And, being on a professional level, they kind of have to be good in reflexes and all and understand the situation. But for this, we actually bother to include all these different voice lines or even the minor situation, actually program them to react accordingly. Again, that's pretty neat. It does remind me a bit of how the Nemesis system constructed for the Shadow War, Mordor and Shadow War video games actually allows you to have to essentially construct stories out of thin air, but in order to do that, they have so many different line of dialogue done by the voice actors.
I bet the writers were glad that that EA got the rights to the Champions League. Because remember in the last game, they had to use generic terms like, we were in Europe.
Actually, wasn't that a point, not a plot point, but a marketing point of FIFA 18 that they had the right over the Champions League?
FIFA 19, yeah, basically, yeah. I think I might have explained already what happened. Yeah, but basically, okay, so just for a bit of context for those who might have missed the earlier parts. Basically, Konami for a while had the rights to the Champions League, but then they gave them up apparently. So now EA have them.
Meh.
So that means now the most PES has going for it are semi-exclusive rights to Manchester United.
Honestly, I really don't understand this idea of the exclusive rights towards what a licensed sport game can have on particular events. It feels so petty for this particular thing. It would be like if there are two Marvel games that include different types of heroes, but one of them cannot actually use the name Captain America, so we had to rename him to like generic, like say, "Oh no, this is U.S. Agent, guys. Don't worry."
I mean, Trio
Um,
has.
Agent.
I mean,
Well, I mean, it does. I mean, there is good competition between FIFA and PES. Although I think recently FIFA's starting to come
to
out
take the
on
upper
top.
hand.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, again, now if you're really a big sports buff, I guess I can see why having these certain things would probably mean more to you in a soccer mode, but for me, I just care about what's actually more fun to play with from the get-go, as opposed to the supposed realism or reflecting all sports in real life here and there, especially considering as how, like, well, usually by the time a game is released, it's practically already outdated from what Dwibs has told me anyway.
Pretty much because the season changes so much. If anything, considering all the talk about games as a service and everything, I'm really surprised that neither EA nor Konami have actually considered a FIFA game that actually, gets updated as the season goes on in terms of swapping the players from place to place depending on where their contracts takes them.
I can guess
You
why
know.
EA don't want to do it that way, because it probably wouldn't make them as much money.
Well, okay, let's think corporate Benjova. They didn't even bother to let like charging money for it. That would be, an easy way to think
They're
about that
about
front.
as. I mean, that's the interesting thing. I mean, with them, with Nicola diving, I mean, you'd think a company would want to do that all the time for every game, and yet they're really inconsistent at it.
Like there is one thing. It's one thing when for example, the producer and director, I think, and Monolith Soft for the Project Cross Zone games had to say that for the Western localization, each character had to be negotiated with the respective development team and company behind it. Because that was such a huge crossover that involved so many different properties, each of them owned by different, well, technically owned by different people, but made also by different people to talk about it. But here, it just feels a bit more random in a way that say, oh yes, we include, for example, the Champions League, but you cannot use this team's name, and you have to replace it with a generic term like Juventus with Torino Calcio.
That's because Konami got the rights.
Yeah, I know that, but again, it just feels weird to me that it can get this petty for a sport game where I don't think it feels like it should be. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something.
It's competition. I mean, especially since the next PES game is going to have a brand new engine.
Oh, they're
my
not
God.
using anymore the Fox engine.
No, I think they're using Unreal.
Fair
For the
enough.
next one.
I mean, okay, Unreal seems to be kind of becoming the more common game engine, and for good reason. Like, I mean,
9-0, Jesus Christ.
well done.
Yes, so it's a good job this isn't a knockout game. Otherwise, Spurs are to do next round.
After a long wait, you finally had
All right, interview.
Champions League football.
You said it, mate. Finally. Champions League is where Europe's best players take the
Yeah, I know. I got robbed the last time.
Game on, get your game on.
Come on, you better play your cards right.
Bang on, mate. Best believe I belong.
Thank you, Alex.
Okay.
By the way, please don't talk to my sister again.
Ever again.
Don't talk to me or my sister.
Damn it, I was about to.
I saw. Okay, I know this took place before, but I am going to see that interview in the future.
Alex is a fortune teller, and he can literally see the future.
I don't think there's a EAAP that involves time travel in a fluent capacity.
Huh.
No, I don't think so.
How interesting.
No, well, okay. No, not even a Mass Effect has it. Damn it.
Yeah.
All right, training date. As it loads.
Our set pieces are second to none in football. Let's keep it that way.
Sure. Oh, what is this?
Oh,
That's
this is
more
the...
Ace Attorney music from
Yes.
Dual Destinies.
Oh, Shiroi, have you gone ahead and played Dual Destinies?
No, all the soundtracks are on streaming, so
Clever.
very good.
Wait. Which streaming? Spotify or?
Spotify.
Yeah. So, what do you think of the newer Ace Attorney soundtracks?
I love it.
I needed I needed a new IP that still had fast-paced-ish music, so I figured the later Ace Attorney games. Why not?
You're saying,
Right, now it's time
Shiroi?
to tackle Now it's time to tackle the first mentor challenge.
Oh, nice.
Basically, I haven't listened to much past Dual Destinies.
Fair enough.
Basically, you have a special one-on-one trading session with one of your mentors.
Yeah. In the previous game it was with Yogurt Man, but here instead is one actual personal trainer.
I like those odds.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Show me you can hit that percentage.
I like how they dangle the
Yay. Really?
Yep.
But
Oh, it's the E-Rank version.
Because I get the idea that you're gonna suck at this.
yeah, pretty much.
And so Alexander's career concludes with a disastrous failure because his coach noted that he was really sucks at passing.
Oh my god.
What a shame.
Yeah, I like how they dangle the soundtracks for the Great Ace Attorney series in front of us, but not the actual games.
I know, right?
It will come.
Thanks.
Now get to the showers.
No, I'm betting not.
I believe you.
Okay, believe
no.
you. You failed.
Your one-on-one contest fail. Okay, that was not one of my brightest moments. I shall move on. With my head high and carry on like all good boys.
Hopefully you don't get fired over that.
Diet and recovery. What, you're saying Alex has a bad diet?
Well, we don't see. Well, to be fair, we see him eating constantly Chinese food, so.
Well, that's Danny.
I mean, for once in a while, it's fine. It's just that if you keep constantly, it's gonna mess up with your body.
I guess maybe Danny believes that maybe Danny's on an all-carb diet.
I guess.
Okay, so let's move on. Danny and Alex watched the thingy. The club adopted a new system asking Danny to change his game. Remember, that's why he had that little debate with the coach earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Is Alex texting?
Still with the Chinese food. And playing on the Switch.
Yeah. Don't you mean generic gaming console?
Oh, the Ouya then. Okay.
Let's just
Yeah,
say it's a
sure.
Switch because I don't want to imagine he's doomed himself to playing one of the most deadest consoles on arrival ever. Like, okay,
Right.
honestly,
Now
I
we
don't
get
But
the
Jova,
punch
you
up.
can play the Amazing Frog at a crappy resolution.
Okay. Honest question, guys. Which was more dead on arrival? Google Stadia or the Ouya?
The Ouya. Google
The
Stadia
Ouya.
might have been having something going on, even at its worst bottom of the barrel, but the Ouya really had no potential.
Which one died sooner?
The Ouya, I can tell you that. Stadia is still
Damn.
struggling, but it's still there.
You know, that's the thing, Sherry. Believe it or not, some companies actually thought Stadia was gonna be the next big thing to the point where they made...
Remember, the future is not a box.
Hey, remember,
Point taken.
I want to remind you guys, Square Enix made literally content-exclusive stuff for the Google Stadia version of Final Fantasy 15. Even a
Apparently it's not
flipping
even
boss.
over. Apparently it's not even over because if I recall correctly, Outriders have some type of minor deal, like it comes first on Stadia for PC. Let me check.
I get the feeling, though, in that case, it's more like a bout of, okay, the contract's been signed, we can't back out even though we mentally wish we could. Because honestly, these days, I don't think anyone has faith in Stadia. Even Google themselves.
Just like we dropped, Google Plus very soon.
Or Google Glass.
In fact, I actually, after this party is done, I'm gonna check if the guys on YouTube actually ever made a new episode of the Google Was a Guy.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes, yes, a remarkable achievement. Cardiff weren't even in the Premier League before.
I think my favorite one from If Google Was a Guy was the one where the guy lists off all Google's failures, and then Google insists that the last one will be truly successful. Like, hey, what about Google Plus? Killed it.
Oh,
Google
there's one that's called Quarantine Edition. Definitely gonna check that out later.
Oh yes. But what about Google Stadia? Oh wait. This one's totally gonna work out, guys.
Sorry, Mom.
Like, damn Google. Like, I mean,
It's been added to the Google graveyard.
You know what's a shame? Google Stadia, if it had just been a proper console, could have been something that could help spice up the industry more, because what, here or with the Google Stadia?
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I mean, fair enough.
Good use of camera technology there. But yeah, seriously though, Google Stadia is like the Epic Game Store. They were things that people were hoping for. More competition in the industry. The problem is what they became. In some ways, they became worse than what they were supposed to fight against.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but, you can say what you want about Apple, but I'm pretty sure, they went out quietly when they tried the whole gaming thing, whereas Google, this whole thing is turned into a dumpster fire.
Is Apple Arcade still going on as a service?
No, when Apple tried gaming a long time ago, a very long time
Oh God, what was that?
I actually don't even remember.
What was that
honest.
device?
We're talking years ago.
Yeah, sure is right. Apple did actually try gaming. I'm not quite sure if it was a full-on console, was it?
I'm not quite sure. All I know is it came and went very quietly.
But yeah,
I'm gonna be honest, it's the first time that I actually hear about it.
But yeah. Like Shuri mentioned, at least it went quietly. With Google Stadia, it's like the Hindenburg of... Again, I don't even know what to call it. That was one of the big problems with Google Stadia from the get-go. They were not clear on what exactly Google Stadia was, even in the commercials.
The marketing presentation alone was faulty at best. Like I mentioned this when the presentation was made.
Really, goalkeeper fell for that.
Yes, he did. But
it had clearly pre-rendered stuff. There was input lag, and then out of nowhere we got fucking MatPat to present the thing.
Again, guys, the presentation put together by
for gaming related. At least go for someone like Jacksepticeye.
Brought to you by Phil Harrison, the same guy behind such wonderful announcements as that of the PS3, the Xbox One, and the Ouya.
Why that person is still getting work? I don't know.
I wonder what he advertises on. Hello. I ruined console's chances before the.
But yeah, here you go. It's called the app. It's called the Pippin.
Oh my God! I remember this whole thing.
We're going back to the 90s with this one.
Yeah. Basically, it was gonna be like the special gaming computer thingamabob,
like an entertainment system all around kind of thing from the looks of it.
Kind of like what the Xbox One tried to be at first. But
apparently it was a collaboration with also Bandai. Huh.
Yeah, I know. I actually do remember this being brought up, but yeah, like Shuri mentioned, it kind of just left as soon as it came. For several reasons. The technology was not.
And I love it how the fact apparently it's reporting that it died as soon as Steve Jobs returned to direct the company.
That's like the opposite.
He took it out back.
He was like, cut that shit out.
That's like the opposite of Bill Gates, because Bill Gates was arguably the guy who was helping Microsoft still keep their way even with gaming. But the minute he left, well,
Things
Xbox
got out of control.
I leave you guys alone while I go on vacation for a few weeks and you do this.
Seriously though, the Xbox One to this day is still one of the most infamous console debuts ever. Like, that original Xbox One, again, it's not every day that you unite.
Watch for...
Again.
Oh.
Oh,
Like-
interesting.
Like I said, though, it is not.
Yeah, I can see that. Sorry.
Like I said, it is not every day that you see practically 99% of the internet united against something, but when Xbox One threatened gaming as people knew it, most people pretty much jumped down their throats on that.
Are you sure, Jover? I swear I see that every.
No, Dwibs. What I mean is that most people were united against them in that regard.
The
Supposedly
original
the-
launch, I
yeah,
remember, was met with a lot of disdain.
Remember, Dwibs, the way the original Xbox One was, announced, set out to be, and how Microsoft essentially doubled down at E3, and only after that they decided to backpedal.
Like, it was going to screw over so many people, especially people who work in the military, considering how, always need to be online, and, if you're in the military, you can't always be online overseas and whatnot, so... Yeah.
And also, depending on where you live in the world, your internet isn't going to be that good.
Nope.
I'm surprised. Oh, wait, never mind. It was the other
Also,
team.
police.
Of course they didn't get it in.
Oh, yo, you got a license to throw that ball.
But yeah, sorry, let's not forget the icing on the cake here. Paying extra for used gaming.
Yeah.
And Microsoft were surprised at the blowback. Like, look.
I get the idea that it might. Okay, probably everyone on YouTube and the internet have already said this like a million times, but I do wonder if it's something similar to the gambit pulled at the end of Trading Places, where Microsoft got a sort of a hold of a news that said to them, this is the right moment to start implementing this mechanic. Go ahead, everyone else will follow suit, and you will get money from it. But then essentially they learned at last moment they got the wrong information.
Funny.
Hey man, come on.
It's funny you mention that here
What
because.
did they get it for though? Then?
Oh, slide.
Always
tackling.
chopping bags, Dwibs.
Come
I
on.
mean, I haven't been sent off yet.
Again,
You do have a
Dwibs.
yellow card, though.
Yeah.
Oof.
But Tio, it's only mentioned that because history kind of repeated itself again when Microsoft tried to do that stupid price
I
hike.
love what that
With the
commentator.
Xbox, game.
I love
bundle.
that. I love what the commentator said. Just
What did he say?
Basically, he said, "Oh, we made a right mess of that header," and then the other one said, "Oh yeah, I could do better than that, and I can't even head the ball."
Dang.
Well, put your money where your mouth is.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
the
but I'm a
goalie actually
commentator,
blocked
I'm
your shot,
tired.
Dwibs.
I mean, it does happen a lot. I just cut it out because pacing.
Mm-hmm.
Companies will try whatever they want, though, to see if they can get away with it.
That is true, Sherry, but like I said, I do wonder if there is, not necessarily, an underground level of, information network, but something akin to that on a smaller scale that tries to understand what the trends might be and how companies can potentially capitalize on it.
Like, the thing about the Big Three is this. If Nintendo are the ones who are sort of
Ooh.
behind the curve every now and then, and Sony
Yeah,
are the
see,
ones
okay,
who
seriously,
oh.
Dibs, even I saw that.
So wait. So what?
Oh, it wasn't for reprehension? Oh, okay.
Did
You
Dwibs-
chopped another person's legs again.
I think Dwibs may have been paying off the referee to not notice that one.
Oh,
Well,
so it's like Moreno, yeah, for that
Well, Tio,
final with
well,
Yeah,
Yeah.
any proof of that,
So
Jonah?
it's like chopping legs, it's fine.
Oh, avoid losing possession, don't let them control the game, Dwibs.
By
Uh-oh.
winning 3-0, it's not like they're controlling the game.
You never know, Dwibs. They could possibly turn the tide.
Anyway, you were saying...
Jover, could you honestly finish that straight?
You were saying,
No.
Jova?
But yeah, that's the thing. If Nintendo are the ones who are behind the curve on some things and don't always follow it up the best, but are at least innovative, and Sony are the ones who are definitely strong, but their pride and occasional greed gets in the way, Microsoft seemed to encompass both those issues, but in very bad ways. They tend to be behind on some things, and when they try to get ahead, they do it in some of the most baffling and idiotic ways possible. Let's not forget, this is the same company that thought that they owned Donkey Kong the rare buyout deal. Yeah, they thought that they would own Donkey Kong. You know, the iconic Nintendo series here and there. But seriously though, okay. Xbox 360 was them pretty much making it to the top of the industry. Well, technically second place behind Nintendo at that generation. But nevertheless, though, it was them showing that they had learned from the first Xbox and how it didn't do that best. So you'd think they'd just do that. Enter in Xbox One, where they take away a lot of their advantages, like the free online, essentially, but again, all the other problems that the Xbox One had, to the point where everyone hated that. So you think, okay, maybe that's a fluke. I mean, it really is not excusable, but maybe after that they wouldn't make that decision again. Then they do the stupid stuff with their other stuff, like the Xbox One Sad Edition and all that stuff. They
Also, there was also the fact that we discussed also with Pedro a couple of times about it feels like we were going through a particular direction with the announcement of the 15 games program, out of which a lot of them were new IPs. But because of how things tumbled with the Xbox One, a lot of them were quietly cancelled or retooled to be worse than what they promised originally. So that impetus kind of got lost at that moment. And nowadays, it's
How did I miss that?
it's one of the
Ask
reasons why
yourself,
Microsoft
please.
is not releasing too many new IPs these days. Mind you, I've been told that the Medium is apparently a good Silent Hill clone, so there is that.
That's the thing about Microsoft, though. Sadly, it feels like the 8th generation just took away their balls, in a sense.
Well, we already discussed this already, Jova. On one hand, the Games Everywhere initiative is really good. It's really inclusive in how it manages to appeal to also the PC gaming market. On the other hand, it completely deflates exclusivity value, for the Xbox One. Because if you have a powerful enough PC, you might as well just get that
With
instead of
free
actually getting a console.
online, with,
Yeah, that too.
yeah, online that doesn't cost extra. Like, and okay, look, I don't mind that Xbox.
Dwibs, what are you doing?
What the?
Dwibs,
Using
why
my
are you doing this?
goalkeeper.
Why are
doing
you
this
using
again?
the goalkeeper?
Difficulties for the goalkeeper. They will now make use of those.
Because I can.
I can just imagine the coach yelling in befuddlement
Get
from
the
all
fuck back to the
sides.
goal.
I'm winning 3-0, and it's nearly the end of the game.
If
Hashtag
there's one thing that can constantly cause one's defeat, it's overconfidence to that level.
It always starts with a stepping
Well, yes,
stone.
but the thing is, Jover, the other team have to capitalise on said overconfidence.
I'm just
Have
saying,
they so
Dwibs.
far?
I'm just saying, Dwibs. The last thing you want is to end up like Brazil did when Germany, socked them bad. Again, Brazil, who used to be on the top of the world, were dethroned in one of the most epic manners by Germany. I'll never forget that.
Germany are known for being really.
Yeah, but seriously, I will never forget that day on the SSMP. Like, any member who was so much as potentially related to Brazil, not even a Brazilian themselves, but a lot of, members of that certain cut were not happy about that game, to say
I
the
wonder
least.
if the Germans. I wonder if there are any Germans on.
Oh, yes,
There are one
yeah.
or two. Marcello, I think, is one of them.
I think Feigolf's also German, too.
I don't know, actually.
But the German members were having a good time.
Here we go.
Boop.
Nope.
Oh,
Nah.
I mean,
this
it's pretty much
time,
over at this point.
And it's with Mendes Lang. So
There we go.
and a morale boosting 3 points on the board to begin their European campaign.
Well, it's everything you want
Yay.
at the start of match one. Good, strong start. That
Also,
never
fix
looks
your haircut.
happy.
especially the players. Well done.
I've seen worse haircuts in this sport.
Although I still have to see a coach with a full-on pompadour.
Alright. So far, so good for both our heroes. The
It
champions.
would be a real shame if something happened.
yeah, something bad happens. Actually, I've noticed one thing. Whereas Kim's story does show certain stuff going on with Alex, there was no mention of what's going on with Danny in later stuff.
Well, I mean, since she's
Maybe we're
Danny's
about to.
sister. Sorry, since she's
Avoid
Alex's
losing possession, playing as an attacker. God damn it.
You have to read fast.
First Champions League game for you, Danny.
Do we seriously have no other reporters?
Oh, I am buzzing, mate. The energy inside the stadium, you know, coming from the crowd, the intensity on the pitch. I have never experienced.
I'm so happy right now.
Also, I see the sweating technology has gotten worse since the previous games. For shame.
Again, EA, just use a different engine, please. Or, at the very least, if you want to keep using the Frostbite engine, you got to expand its versatility.
We want that sweat consistency.
It's the glue that holds together.
That's an oddly specific request. Yeah, FIFA 21 uses Frostbite 3 right now.
Yeah.
Might as well. Like I said, it's probably because they don't want to pay royalties to someone else for their engines. Pretty much that.
Alright, so, all in all, very successful part. Both our teams got off to an extraordinary start, and the champion is going to get better from here, so join us next part.
We'll see you then.
See ya.
Yeah.